game one, but these two were fantastic in the loss. Lillard and Kanter.
Enes, looked like you were obviously in some discomfort out there, especially after the dunk you had. Was this more of a pain thing that you were kind of fighting through tonight, and how did you feel out there?
I mean, I cannot play the way I want to play. I mean, it's always back of my head out there. But I mean, obviously it's the playoffs, man. It's either win or go home. So I mean, my teammates are trusting me. So I don't have any other choice. I'm just gonna go out there and try to do everything I can to just beat my teammates.
Dame, Coach Stotts was happy with the offensive side from the turnovers. What do y'all have to do to cut down on those? They got 23 points off turnovers and kind of seemed to be a difference in the game.
Yeah, I think that was a huge part of it. I know I had 6 myself. You know, as much as I had a ball, you know, I'm responsible for value in possessions. You know, on the road against a team who plays much faster, much better at home, especially when they get out in transition and shoot threes and get the ball moving. Just gave them too many opportunities. You know, 23 points off of our turnovers. That's always going to hurt you in any game, especially on the road. So we got to be much better with that. You know, I think if we limit those and at least get shots up at the rim, you know, we give ourselves a much better chance.
For both of you, actually, how'd you guys feel you did defending the three-point line tonight in the Oklahoma City series? It didn't seem to be as much of an issue tonight. They shot 41% from three, 12 made three-pointers.
I think, you know, obviously they're different teams. With OKC, you know, I don't think they had the kind of shooters that Denver has. You know, they got a lot of guys out there who pretty much knock down three-point shooters. And then they got a guy in the middle who's a facilitator. So it's much more of a priority to this team to, you know, have the ball moving and hopping around, finding an open man, they cutting, you know, and it's a lot of action going on. So you got to honor that because they take advantage of those things and they end up seeing the right plays and making the right plays, and they just, I guess they produce more quality looks. You know, they make it harder on you to get out there and take that shot away. And there were situations where our communication just wasn't good enough. You know, in some of our coverages that we prepped coming into the game, we just didn't do it well enough, and it turned into open threes for guys that we don't want to give open threes up to. Sometimes it was turnovers, and then we off balance and they got numbers, and, you know, on the weak side is a guy in the corner for an open three. So I think it was a lot of situations like that. And like I said about the turnovers, when those things happen, you know, that's what they want to do. When you allow that to happen, you're going to have a hard time winning the game, especially on the road.
Damian Lillard Enes, what can you guys do to try to slow down Jokic? Is he just basically is it like pick your poison and try to take his assists away that he scores?
I mean, he's a great player. You gotta, it has to be a team effort. You know, I think you're not going to completely take him out, but I think you just got to make things difficult for him. You know, we got to make him see bodies. We got to be physical. We got to be ready to help dig on the post and get back to our man. But we also got to make sure that when he's putting up shots, we're keeping him off the glass, you know, because he's one of the best at shooting the ball and following his shot, and then getting the second attempt is usually easier than the first one is for him. So he does a lot of little things that's in his favor because he doesn't depend on athleticism and speed and all that stuff. So it's kind of sneaky. And, you know, when you relax, he's getting those extra rebounds and 2 points and free throws and stuff like that. So as a group, we just got to be more aware of where he is and what he's doing and just make it harder than it was tonight.
Enes, was it tough going against Jokic with your shoulder the way it is, and as Damian was saying, how he can get his points without being overly athletic?
I mean, yeah, because I mean, obviously Jokic is a pretty big guy, but you know, I don't even really try to think about my shoulder, you know, because like I said, I mean, it's just the playoffs. So I think just the next game, just got to go out there and just play hard and play smart.
Damian, Mike Malone talked about how they were the resiliency of their team coming back after Game 7, 2 days rest. You guys have been resilient all season. How do you feel about that in terms of Game 2?
I mean, it's just one game. You know, I think when you come into the playoffs, the team that's playing on their home floor, you always saying protect home. And they got the first 2 games at home, and tonight it was a competitive game. They got the first one. So we'll have a chance to show that in the next game, you know, when we bounce back.
Enes obviously battling through the shoulder pain, but still coming up with a big performance. What do you think of his night?
I mean, I thought he had a huge night. You know, I think we didn't score the ball great. I think without Nurk, having him come in and give us the kind of performances he's been giving us, not just tonight or last series, but just as soon as he came to our team, you know, he's been stepping up and giving us great production when it was off the bench. Throw him in the starting lineup, and he's continued to do the same. And I think with Nurk going down and the pressure goes up on, you know, myself, CJ, everybody else who we count on to score the ball, and he's come in and made our lives easier. And our team, we haven't skipped a beat. You know, he's been huge on the glass. He's been a post presence. We can throw him the ball. He can score on the block. You know, those are good possessions when you can just throw it in and kind of space out and make their bigs work. Extra possessions on the offensive end, making free throws, making threes. I mean, I think everything he's done has been a huge part of why we've been able to have our success so far this year.
Damon, in one of the games in the first round against OKC, you expressed some displeasure over your team maybe getting too involved with the officiating and stuff. And was there any of that tonight?
In the first series, I didn't. It wasn't displeasure. I just didn't think it was going to be in our favor. You know, by us going back and forth with them, the game was being called how it was being called. And tonight, I think it was. You know, it was a game we wanted to win. It was a little bit of a heated game, you know, when it came to the whistle for us. And we would say something when something needed to be said. I mean, we weren't coming at them. I mean, nobody got a tech, so it wasn't anything disrespectful. But when your season is on the line, you got to be willing to challenge what's happening out there and, you know, try to put your team in the best position to win. And I think it was a little bit more of that, you know, probably more than we needed. You know, maybe we need to, you know, not say as much, but I mean, it's anytime you see guys wanting it that bad, you know, you're going to say stuff sometimes. And I think, you know, we might have had a little bit too much of that tonight.
Dame, was Denver's defensive approach any different than what you saw last series? And how do you feel like you adjusted to it throughout the game?
I mean, OKC and Denver both top 10 defensive teams. So we knew we were going to have to come in and be sharp on the offensive end. But I think it was actually more similar than I thought. The bigs were up at the level of the screen. When I was coming off, they were staying until I got rid of the ball. It was really similar. It was a guy picking me up full court, just like in the OKC series. So it was similar, but you know, all teams are different. All personnel is different, and you know, obviously what we did tonight wasn't good enough. So watch film and go into the next game knowing how we can take better advantage of what they were doing.
2 more questions and we'll wrap up.
Enes, so I'm just wondering, obviously you're going to continue treatment. Kind of what's the plan now with your shoulder? Going forward, you think?
Just keep playing through it. You know, I mean, with the painkillers, injections, anything I can do to just help my teammate. You know, it doesn't matter, 1 arm, 2 arm. I'm just gonna go out there and just help my teammates win, man. Because, I mean, I signed with this team in February, but this team put so much work on that for the whole season, and you know, they trusted me and I trusted them. So it doesn't matter what happens. I'm just gonna go out there and try to do the best I can to just help them on both ends.
Any other questions? Okay.
Jamal Murray coming in next for the Denver Nuggets side. Enes Kanter, look, hurt or healthy, fantastic tonight. Been efficient, been a big help for them without Nurkic for sure. On the other side, Jamal Murray, 8 assists, only 1 turnover, scored 23 in Denver's win.
What was the key, kind of just the turnaround? Because Coach Mullen said the one thing that he was thinking about was, you know, making sure that energy from a Game 7 to carry it over into Game 1. What was the key over 48 hours to playing with that same kind of intensity?
Just being disciplined, being detailed defensively, limiting them to one shot, getting on the break, and using the home fans to our advantage. We did that really well, and we got out and run and got some good looks, so that was a game plan.
8 assists, 1 turnover for you tonight. How did you just feel, making reads out there as a playmaker and in the pick and roll?
Just playing my game. Somebody's open, I pass it. If I'm open, I shoot. They did some different stuff on us tonight. We just adjusted. Joker got into the middle of the paint and was able to make some plays. And Gary hit some big shots, so Sap was great as well. So we had a lot of weapons, and the ball was moving, like I said earlier.
Jamal, going from that Spurs series and defending that team to defending these guys with all the pick and rolls they run, is it as drastically different as it seems just watching it? Just how those two teams play and how you got to defend them?
Spurs have a lot more post-ups, and, Portland has a lot more ball handlers, a lot more pick-and-roll guys, and guys will hold the rim like Kanter. We just got to make sure we count for all their guys. Keep Dame uncomfortable, keep CJ uncomfortable, and play accordingly to their role guys. So I think tonight we did a good job, and especially late. We just got to keep him off the line some more. Short hands more, and he was looking to get a couple of Justin fouls. So other than that, I think we did a good job.
Jamal, you said this morning that you thought you guys had a pretty good advantage with Joker in the post. What worked so well for him? He obviously finished with 37 tonight.
It's Joker. He catches the ball on the block, and he can really score on anybody. So that was working. They didn't double him, and he had much of work, and they couldn't stop him. We had a lot of guys. Paul did a great job, moving without the ball, and Gary is exceptional tonight as well. So like I said, we got a lot of weapons, and he had a night tonight.
With Nikola, his mentality and being seemingly a little more willing to attack those mismatches and go for being a scorer when he has those advantages, when sometimes he in the past had looked to pass a little more. How much have you seen him grow in being more comfortable in that role as the scorer and being more of an attacker in those situations?
He just picks his spots. He doesn't force any plays. He sees open man. But he's such like you said, a willing passer. He knows to get his teammates involved, and sometimes he has an easy shot and he doesn't take it. But that hasn't been the case, especially in the playoffs. Especially games like when we were down 2-1, San Antonio. He's just being aggressive. Game 7 being aggressive. So I think he's found his niche when he has to go to the rack and when he has to defer to passing.
You had 23 points over here. You had 23 points and you could score the ball from the moment you walked into the NBA, but you had 8 assists, 1 turnover. So maybe you are a point guard after all. How much pride have you taken in how much better you are at running a team than when you got into the league?
I've played point guard my whole life, so it's a difficult question for me. Kentucky is the only year I played the 2 guard, and I played it okay, I guess. I could shoot, but point guard is what I've been doing my whole life, and just kind of be more detailed in what I do, be more solid, just doing little things, not turning the ball over, and being more vocal. So, tonight was a good night, and like I said, everybody making shots makes it a lot easier.
Jamal, what did you think of Lillard tonight and the job you guys did defensively on him?
Like I said, we just made it uncomfortable. Got the ball in the hands a little bit. And like I said, we just got to short hands more. I felt he got to the line too much, and I attacked our bigs a lot. So I think we just got to be ready to guard. And but overall, we did a pretty good job. I don't know how much he had, but I know a lot of the other guys didn't have a lot either. So I think all around our offense kicked in, and we limited them to 1 shot.
Well, Gary gives you guys such an element when he's attacking the rim. Just your thoughts on his his reverse tonight that seemed to really get the crowd going.
It was crazy. It was one of those shots you just kind of looking. Oh, I was on the court, so I was worried about getting back, but it was a crazy layup. He went up, looked like he was going to dunk it. Kind of brought the ball down between his legs, looked around, and then the next time it finished, it was a really nice layup.
All right, Jamal Murray and company, they all revolve around the center of the Nuggets universe.